Satellites were built to give scientists answers. They scan the Earth, map the planets, and look deeper into space than we ever could from the ground. But sometimes, the more they see, the less sense things make. Because every once in a while, satellites catch something so strange, so out of place, that even scientists are forced to admit they do not fully understand what they are looking at. From a signal that made Earth hum for 9 straight days, to a hidden planet that may be pulling on objects from the darkness. These are the satellite-detected anomalies that scientists still cannot fully explain. This is one of the craziest things satellites have helped confirm in years. Seismometers around the world picked up a strange pulse repeating every 90 seconds for 9 straight days. At first, nobody knew what could cause something like that. Then, scientists traced it back to Greenland, where a massive landslide had slammed into a remote fjord and triggered a giant wave. But here is the part that feels almost impossible. Instead of fading quickly, that wave kept rocking back and forth inside the fjord for days, like water in a giant stone bathtub that refused to settle. Satellite observations later helped confirm what had happened. So yes, one landslide created a chain reaction powerful enough to make the whole planet vibrate. This is the real version of the so-called hidden planet story. Scientists have not directly seen Planet 9, but they keep seeing the weird effects it may be leaving behind. Objects far beyond Neptune have orbital paths that seem strangely clustered, almost like something massive is pulling on them from very far away. NASA says the idea is still theoretical, but the possible planet could be around 5 to 10 times the mass of Earth. That means the anomaly is not a photograph of a new world. It is the repeated pattern of gravity itself acting like something huge is out there in the dark. It is kind of like seeing curtains move in a locked room and realizing something is in there even if you still cannot see it. NASA's pre-fire satellites were sent up to study something we had never really measured properly before: how the Arctic and Antarctic leak heat into space in infrared light. That matters because the poles help Earth cool itself down. The weird part is that scientists knew this hidden heat existed, but older instruments were not good enough to track it clearly. So now satellites are finally opening up a blind spot in Earth's climate system, and the data are showing just how much we are missing. The anomaly here is not one single object or signal. It's the fact that one of the most important parts of Earth's heat balance was practically invisible until now. Imagine trying to understand why your oven is overheating without realizing the temperature gauge is broken. That is the level of missing information scientists were dealing with. For a while, scientists thought they may have found liquid water buried under the south polar ice on Mars. That alone would have been massive. But newer analysis made things even stranger. Instead of cleanly confirming water, the radar signal turned into more of a mystery. Researchers found that the bright reflection under the ice does not neatly match what they expected from normal rock, normal ice, or even a simple underground lake. So now we are left with a signal that is definitely unusual, but still not fully pinned down. Whatever is under that Martian ice, scientists are still arguing about what it really is. In 2026, researchers used AI to tear through nearly 100 million Hubble image cutouts in just days. What it found was incredible. Hundreds of rare and unusual objects that had not been properly documented before. Some looked like distorted galaxies, some were strange gravitational lenses, some were odd mergers, and some were simply flagged as anomalies because they did not fit the usual patterns at all. Think about that for a second. These objects were sitting inside one of the most famous space archives on Earth, and humans had basically missed them because there was just too much data. That means the anomaly is not just only out in space, it is also in how much we have already seen without realizing what we're looking at. This one is much closer to home, and honestly, that makes it worse. The South Atlantic Anomaly is a region above Earth where our planet's magnetic shield is weaker. That means satellites passing through it can get hit with extra radiation, which can mess with electronics and sensors. But recent satellite data showed the anomaly is not just sitting there quietly, it has been changing, shifting, and behaving in ways scientists still study closely. In some areas, the magnetic field below it behaves in unexplained unexpected ways, and parts of the anomaly have even moved over time. So this is basically a weak spot in Earth's protective armor, and it is not staying still. That is a little unsettling when you remember how much of a modern life depends on satellites working properly. When scientists used the James Webb Space Telescope to study Jupiter's auroras, they expected something impressive. What they got was something confusing. Webb saw details in the auroras that changed much faster than expected, with features brightening and shifting on very short timescales. That matters because Jupiter's auroras are supposed to help scientists understand how the planet's atmosphere, magnetic field, and charged particles all work together. But instead of making the picture simpler, Webb made it stranger. In 2025, NASA announced that Webb had found new evidence for a giant planet around Alpha Centauri A, the closest true solar twin to our sun. That is already a huge deal on its own, but then the story got even weirder. Later observations did not clearly show the same object again in the way people expected. Scientists ran simulations and found that, depending on its orbit, the planet may simply have moved too close to the star to be seen during follow-up observations. So now we have a possible planet near the closest sun-like star to Earth that may have briefly shown itself and then seemed to have vanished. That is not proof of anything supernatural, obviously, but it is still the kind of anomaly that makes space feel a lot stranger than people realize. Titan has long been one of the most fascinating moons in the solar system, partly because scientists thought it might hide a huge underground ocean. But in late 2025, a reanalysis of older mission data suggested the inside of Titan may be much messier than that. Instead of one giant global ocean, its interior may be a mix of ice, slush, and smaller pockets of warmer water. That means one of the most famous ideas about Titan may be wrong, or at least way more complicated than people hoped. This is what makes so many satellites and spacecraft anomalies so unsettling. You do not always get a clean answer, and sometimes you just trade one mystery for a bigger one. And finally, for number one, we have something that feels like a clue dropped in another solar system. Hubble previously pinned down a bizarre exoplanet called HD 106906b, a giant world on a very distant, strange orbit around a double star. Scientists said this oddball planet may actually offer clues to the mystery of Planet 9 in our own solar system, because its strange placement suggests that worlds can end up in these extreme, far-out orbits after violent gravitational chaos. So the anomaly here is bigger than one exoplanet. It is the possibility that the weird hidden planet idea in our own backyard is not ridiculous at all. We may already be looking at another planet system that shows how something like Planet 9 could really happen. That is what makes this so hard to ignore. Sometimes the best clue to a mystery is seeing the same impossible looking thing happen somewhere else. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking it out. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski, and I will see you again soon. Bye!